Got fit in Japan!
Yeah, all the telling me on business. I'm all about my business, but I ain't got no briefcase. Yeah, all I got's some whiskey. Open man the whiskey, bring it to you. Yeah, I'm leaning up against the door, and my feet set to the floor, and we're messing on go. Yeah, I've been in before. I'm a broken man, needing remedial lands. I'm all about my business. Let me love you till the morning. Let me love you till the morning, yeah.
What's up, faders? Welcome to yet another action-packed episode of Got Faded Japan, and I am your host, Johnny. And as you fine folks know, Got Faded Japan is about, well, two dudes booze Japan in the news. I still haven't fixed the headline. Is it a headline or a tagline? I don't know. I used to work in advertising. I should know. But yeah, it's basically me here, your boy Johnny, either drinking booze or drinking coffee, hanging out with you guys, fading with you guys, and breaking down all sorts of exciting things that's happening here in Japan, plus the weekly, bizarre, crazy, twisted news that I'll have for you, well, I guess weekly. So let's see here. Yeah, this is episode number 767, believe it or not. Step aside, Joe Rogan. Johnny's in town. Actually, I think Joe Rogan's on episode, 1,000? He's on 10,000 at this point. I wonder how he does it. Does he like podcast let's see, he podcasts for 3 to 4 hours at a time. And he has like really interesting guests coming. I think what he probably does is he probably sets like 1 or 2 days aside in a whole month and just podcasts all like 24 hours nonstop. I think he just changes his clothes. Like Bon Jovi comes in, he's like, so Bon Jovi, slippery when wet. What does that mean? And he interviews Bon Jovi. Then when Bon Jovi leaves, he changes his clothes. And then all of a sudden somebody else comes in. He's like, whoa, tell me about nuclear science. I think that's what he does because there's no other way for him to have such an interesting and exciting life, plus podcasting pretty much nonstop. So I think he just like piles them all up. And then every week he just drops one. It's got to be how he does it. I can't do that because I have the weekly news. Besides, if I podcast, I think I could podcast all day. I could try. I think the longest nonstop podcast is 36 hours. I think it's in the Guinness book. I don't know. I think so. Anyway, somebody Google it out there. Anyway, faders, today I've got a very, very exciting episode. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about the joys of riding a bicycle in Tokyo. Yes, or in Japan. There are so many advantages to riding a bike here in Tokyo. And a lot of people that come to Tokyo, they live here for a little bit. They never buy a bike. They never ride a bike. They take the trains everywhere, trains and taxis. And that's fine. But there's a lot of great advantages that you can get from riding a bike. So I'm going to tell you the ins, the outs, the ups and downs of riding a bicycle here in Tokyo. And of course, I'm also going to talk about the news. I've got 4 really exciting news articles that I'm going to read at the end of this episode. So stay tuned for that. And before that, I just want to talk about my weekend. We all had a weekend, well, at least most of us. And my weekend was pretty good because this last weekend on Saturday, I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to curate an art gallery at the More Than Music's event called Levels. And if you follow Got Faded Japan's Instagram page or the Facebook page, I'm sure you know all about Levels. It was a huge event here in Tokyo. And basically what the More Than Music guys did was they rented out a building in Nihonbashi. It's called Nihonbashi Air. And on every floor, they had a different kind of event with a different atmosphere. And dude, it was sick. It was so incredible. Like you walk in and on the first floor, there's like a bar and kind of like a little cafe chill room. And then you go into the basement. In the basement, they got this like 1970s vibe, like nightclub, right? And then they got this huge stage and there's bands that were performing. And yeah, that was really, really cool. And the variety of music that Justin had, and Justin, of course, as you know, is the president of More Than Music, was absolutely fantastic. He had a lot of I think there's like reggae, there's the shamisen, there was some soul music. It was absolutely brilliant, brilliant stuff. And then if you went up to like the second floor, on the second floor, he had like a DJ room. So it was like kind of like a nightclub. And that was really cool. And that had its own kind of vibe. It kind of had this old pirate ship kind of feel to it. I guess like by the way the walls were designed and the furniture that they had in there. But yeah, the vibe, the atmosphere, that was super cool. And then above that, yours truly, your boy here, Johnny, I curated the art gallery, and we had five amazing artists showcasing some of their latest brilliant work, and it was so cool. We had fine art painting, we had jewelry, we have popsicle painting, like the stuff behind me. If you're watching us on YouTube, yeah, look behind me, this kind of stuff. And then above that, there was like a VIP chill room, and VIP means it's for everybody, where they had all sorts of weird stuff. They had beds and sofas, and yeah, it was interesting. And then on the top floor was the roof, and on the roof you got a beautiful view of Nihonbashi. It was great. It was so cool, and the people that came in were absolutely fantastic. All the DJs and performers were great. I mean, the vibes were just so positive. It's like one of those parties where you go in and you kind of feel like it's your birthday because you can talk to anybody and everybody at the club. It was so cool. And it's more than a club. It's more than music. It's like five clubs put into one. You know, it was great. So that was my Saturday. Sunday morning was a little rough. I may have drank a little bit too much at the gallery. I was having a lot of fun. And I'll actually have a video. If you go to our Instagram, or if you go to the Spilt Dinks Instagram, I got a video up there where you can see like the gallery. So yeah, check that out and stuff. If you want to check on like the vibe, it's kind of cool. And yeah, so that was pretty insane. So Sunday I was a little slow, and then Sunday evening I went to Ben's restaurant, the Den, which is in Koenji. And if you go back maybe 15 episodes, I interviewed him at the Den, and oh my God, it was so good. Faders, sometimes when you're really, really hungover and you just don't want to get out of bed, but you got to get out of bed. You got to face the day. You got to do something. You got to do your laundry, whatever. When you have one of those kind of days where you're just like, oh, you don't want to do it, but you have to do it, you're kind of craving greasy food. You really want something greasy, something meaty, something fatty, something delicious. And yeah, that's exactly what I needed. And that's exactly what I got when I went to the Den. I went to the Den and I got one of their smash burgers, a double cheeseburger, and it was exactly what I needed. Oh my God, that burger was so delicious. It was like a perfect size, the perfect amount of meat, the perfect amount of cheese. It was absolutely heaven. And oh my God, when I saw it, my eyes were crying, my mouth was watering. It was just so amazing. It was like the best burger. And yeah, I was there, and I enjoyed, I think maybe 5 or 6 of their crafted beers, which is amazing. And then I ate the burger and I felt like $1,000,000. That hangover was gone, long gone, sayonara, buddy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's so many great restaurants in Tokyo, and the Den is definitely one of them. I highly recommend that you get your tails to Koenji and check out the Den, because the Den is absolutely spectacular. And another cool thing about the Den is they also have all sorts of events and stuff that happens there every day. I think I'm still hungover. I can't talk. Come on, coffee, start working, coffee. Do your caffeinated magic. There we go. So at the Den, they're always doing something cool. And so while I was there, I got to see an art exhibition that was hosted by Stefan, who is a good friend of mine. And he had like a lot of great like artists. Most of the people there were tattoo artists. So everything kind of had this interesting Japanese tattoo theme to it, which is kind of cool. So I got to experience that and hang out with some cool dudes. And yeah, they also have pinball, which is there. And I don't know if you know this, but I love pinball. I'm a pinball guy. I love playing pinball. My favorite pinball machines are Terminator 2. Let's see. Terminator 2 is probably one of my favorites. That and Star Wars. Anything Star Wars is great. So, but yeah, they got pinball there. And yeah, I killed my hangover. And yeah, I just enjoyed the night. So that was my weekend. Yeah, it was fantastic. Absolutely spectacular. How was yours? Hope you guys had a good time. Oh my goodness. This next weekend coming up, I'm going to take it easy. I think I'm at that point where like I can have one wild weekend And then the next weekend is either totally cool or lukewarm. That's how I'm gonna roll from here on out, man. Oh my gosh. Oh man, this weekend coming up. I got no plans so far, and thank God. Oh, geez. So let's move forward to what I really want to talk to you guys about. This is Johnny's picks. This is Johnny's 411, Johnny's information for you guys, and it's all about riding bicycles in Japan. Now, I've been riding a bicycle in Japan, and I'm saying bicycle because everybody here says bicycle. Bicycle. Bike means motorcycle, right? So, I mean, back home in the States, I would say bike. But here you got to say bicycle or jitensha. Jitensha means bicycle here. So, why did I decide to ride a bike? And oh yeah, as I was going to say, yeah, I've been riding a bike for, gosh, I don't know how many years, since 2003. Yeah, I've been riding a bike since 2003 here in Japan. And the reason why I chose to ride a bike is because of this. You know, in 2004, I think I bought my first bike. Yeah, that sounds about right. But anyway, okay, all right, apples and oranges. So I had a job in Shibuya, and at that time I was living in Shimokitazawa, right? Which is about maybe a 15-minute train ride. And I was kind of like the typical salary man. I wore a suit and I had to work during business hours, aka rush hour. And going to work in the morning was hell because the train was super crowded. Going home was even worse because it was super crowded and I was wasted, and so was everybody else. And yeah, I just didn't like riding the trains. And at that time, I also had a really bad lifestyle. Like I was just like, I was still new to Japan. So when you first come to Japan, when you're new to Japan, you spend all your money. Everybody does, right? You go out to cafes, bars, restaurants. You're eating lunch everywhere. You're eating ramen once or twice a day. You're having these crazy breakfasts, and yeah, it was no different. So in the morning, I would go to Tuli's Cafe and I'd get a large coffee and a cookie. And then for lunch, I would do that and I'd get ramen. And then in the evening, I'd go drinking with my boys and go to clubs and stuff. And at the end of the month, I was completely broke. Every month, I was pretty much broke. After I paid all my bills, I just had nothing in the bank. And I was like, Jesus Christ, where's all my money going? So I started adding up all the expenses that I had, right? I was like, oh my gosh. I spend this much on morning coffees in a month, right? And then I decided to like add up everything. And so I found out how much money I was spending on trains and how much money I was spending on lunch and how much money I was spending on booze and how much money I was spending on records. Back then I was a huge record collector. I used to buy so many records. Record shops love Johnny. And anyway, it was absolutely crazy. I was always going out and stuff, and then I just basically had to cut back after I decided how much after I learned how much money I was spending. And yeah, I cut back on breakfast. I started making my own breakfast. Lunch, I stopped eating lunch. Coffee, I would have my company's really terrible like instant coffee, or I'd bring coffee. Yeah, I basically cut everything back. And one thing that I decided to do was invest in a bike, because when I told one of my friends, his name was Johnny the boy, I told him, I was like, yo, I'm cutting back on money. And he's like, dude, if you want to cut back on money. I want to cut back on money. I'm sick of money. I'm done with money. Money's done. I'm forget about money. I said, I want to cut back on my expenses. And Johnny says, listen, if you really want to cut back on your expenses, stop taking the train, invest in a bike. And after a certain amount of time, the bike will pay for itself. And then you're just basically making money, because in Japan, companies pay you to take the train. And I was like, holy smokes. So pretty much that's like me making like almost like an extra 10 bucks, 1,000 yen every single day. And he's like, yeah, exactly. And if you use that 10 bucks or that equivalent of 10 bucks on booze or something like that, yeah, God bless you. And I was like, fantastic. So I invested in a bike and I bought a BMX bike. I bought the cheapest BMX bike I could buy. And the reason why I got a BMX bike is because when I was a kid, I had a BMX bike. I think it was a Huffy or something, and I absolutely loved it. It was like the best bike. I really had a wonderful time riding that bike all over the neighborhood. Now, I bought this BMX bike, and I instantly fell in love with riding a bike. I absolutely fell in love, head over heels, about riding a bike in Tokyo, because one thing that I didn't realize was, when you take a train, you're going from like Shibuya to Shimokita to Shinjuku to Kichijoji to Utenji to Yokohama, wherever. You're just, you're in one station and then boom, you're in another station. You don't see anything else. You look out the window, you see houses, you see izakayas, you see karaoke, you see pachinko parlors. That's it, right? So when I started riding a bike, the whole city opened up like a rose. I couldn't believe it. When you ride from Shimokitazawa to Shibuya, you're going past little neighborhoods and little kind of like boutique shops and bars and stuff and little like kind of like corner places that you would never ever see in a million years. And so Tokyo basically just became like a whole new city for me. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then I started going on bike rides and I started riding to like weird parts of the city. Like I'm like, today I'm going to go to Ikebukuro. It's going to take me about an hour and a half, but who cares? And that was so absolutely amazing, And then another thing was, well, I was saving a lot of money because the thing is, okay, when you're going to work back and forth and stuff, you're getting paid for that, right? So basically I was getting 10 bucks a day, 1,000 yen a day. But when you stop taking trains altogether, you're saving a lot of money. Because if you're going from like, let's just say you're going from, I don't know, let's just say you go to Shinjuku to Shibuya and you're doing something Shibuya, and then you decide to go to, I don't know, let's say Koenji. So you go all the way over to, you go back to Shinjuku, then you take the Chuo line all the way to Koenji. And then from Koenji, your friend calls you up and he's like, yo, we're getting dinner in Ikebukuro. Then you go all the way back to Shinjuku. Then you go all the way. Dude, you are spending money hand over fist. You just don't realize it, because you got your little Passmo card. It's kind of like a little credit card for the train that you're constantly feeding money, every couple of days. That's how I was rolling. And then if you ride a bike, pretty much everywhere in the city is like an hour away. It's like Los Angeles. If you plan to go from, let's say Meguro to Shinjuku, it's like 40 minutes away plus traffic, right? Or if you're going to go from like Shibuya to, let's just say pretty much Ikebukuro, it's probably about like an hour away, to going from like Meguro to Asagaya, it's an hour away. Pretty much everywhere is about an hour away, And if it's over an hour away, don't go there. So yeah, I've been saving so much money by riding my bike. It's absolutely fantastic. So you get to learn a lot about the city, and then you save a lot of money. And actually, let's do pros and cons. Let's do pros and cons. Okay. And I actually wrote some of these down. Yes, I did pregame. I did take notes before this show. This show is completely planned down. Every single word and syllable that I say, it's all planned. It's not planned at all. All right. Okay, so let's do the pros. Okay, so this is what I wrote down way earlier. Okay, so yes, one of the pros is you're going to save a lot of money. It's just going to add up. If you think about, right, if you're living in Tokyo right now, or if you've ever lived in Tokyo, think about how much money you spent on trains in one day on a Saturday, right? If you went out and you met friends and you did a lot of stuff or whatever, gosh, it's probably like what? 1,500 yen, 15 bucks, 12 bucks, something like that or whatever. Yeah. And then you multiply that times like four Saturdays plus Sundays, it just adds up, right? So you save a lot of money. Your bike will definitely pay for itself eventually. Okay. Next, exercise. I'll be honest, man, the food in Japan is healthy. It is very, very, very healthy. But if you're living in Tokyo, you're probably not eating as healthy as you should because you're going to a lot of izakayas, you're eating a lot of ramen, you're eating a lot of greasy food. Yeah, if you're going to conveni, dude, you go to conveni, you go to 7-Eleven, you go to Family Mart, I swear to God, you're eating food that's just full of sugar and chemicals and preservatives. It's really, really bad for you. So getting exercise is very important. You got to burn that stuff off, man. You got to burn all that fat off. And if you got a bicycle and you're pedaling all over Tokyo, or if you're in Osaka or Okinawa or wherever you're at, yeah, definitely. This is great exercise. You don't have to go to the gym. I don't go to the gym. I don't have muscles, but I don't go to the gym. And I say kind of fit. All right. Oh, like I said before, finding new places. Some of the coolest bars that I've found like out of the blue was because I was riding my bike and I passed it. Like there's like a Metallica bar that I found recently. I rode my bike and I saw like the sign that was written like Metallica font. And I was like, what is this? And there's like all these like old heavy metal headbanger guys in there with like denim jackets. And I was like, this is my spot. I never would have found that if I was walking around or if I was like taking a train or a taxi or something. Bicycles, they open up the city like a rose. Okay. Okay. Faster. Yes. Like I said, pretty much it'll take you about an hour or under to get to most places if you're riding a bicycle, right? Now, in many cases, that's sometimes faster. For me, right now, from where I'm at right now, to get to, let's just say, Asagaya, if I'm going to go to Gamuso, it's going to take me about an hour and 10 minutes or so, right? But if I'm riding a bike, it's going to take me maybe 50 minutes. So I'm going to shut off at least 20 minutes of that time, which is very, very good. Okay. Another thing is you avoid people. You avoid a people. Yeah. Like I said earlier, yeah, rush hour. Rush hour sucks, man. At first, it's a novelty. You get here, you're like, oh my God, I can't breathe. I'm so, this is terrible. I can't, this is kind of cool though. Yeah, this is Japan. Woo! Yeah, but the thing is though, after a while, getting on a crowded train and then having people kind of push around or something, or if you got somebody that's like coughing on you or somebody that kind of stinks, or if you got a couple of drunk tourists doing some crazy stuff or whatever, you're just like, oh my God, I'm so annoyed. I don't want to go to this meeting later. Oh God, I'm just right now. This train ride right here, this station, whatever, has put me in the wrong mindset, you know. But if you're riding a bike and you're getting those endorphins pumping, and there's like no people around you, you know, it's great, man. It's absolutely great. You feel good, you know. You get to your office or wherever you're going and stuff. You know, you got a little bit of energy. You know, there's a little pep in your step. So yeah, absolutely avoid people, and it's fun. Riding a bike is fun, you know, especially a BMX. Especially a BMX. I love riding a BMX. I've got an 8th Street 24-inch, and yeah, it's like the best bike. Actually, I got 2 of them, and yeah, that's a difference. It's a story all in is. That's a completely different podcast. I'm not even going to talk about why I have 2 BMX bikes, but yeah. Um, but riding a bike in Tokyo is fun. Now, one cool thing about Tokyo that's different from a lot of other cities like Osaka and Kyoto is that Tokyo is a city of hills. There are so many hills in Tokyo, right? And going up a hill kind of sucks, but if you're in the right mindset and if you're positive, you're like, all right, this is good exercise. I actually kind of need this. This is good. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get to the top. And the best thing about getting to the top is going down. And oh man, I love bombing hills, dude. There are some of my favorite hills in the whole world are in Tokyo, where you're just like, and you're like passing cars and stuff. Oh my goodness. It is a lot of fun to ride a bike in Tokyo. You got to be safe though. But yeah, oh my gosh, it is so much fun. I can't recommend riding a bike more in Tokyo. It's just the best. It's absolutely the best. So those are the pros. Okay, now the cons. With every pro, there's a con. Okay, so the cons of riding a bike in Tokyo. Okay, first off, yes, it is dangerous. Riding a bike in any major city anywhere in the world is going to be dangerous. I don't care if you're in Mexico City, New York, Paris, wherever, it's going to be dangerous. Why? Because it's a city. You've got cars, you've got people, you've got garbage, you've got glass in the road. Anything and everything can happen when you're on those wheels and you're cruising down the streets. Anything can happen. So you got to use your mind and you got to be careful, right? Yeah, it's very dangerous sometimes. I've seen a lot of horrific accidents, very, very, very bad accidents. And so you really, really got to be very careful. It is so dangerous. You got to be like kind of like that Misfit song. 20 eyes in my head, 20 eyes in my head, and they're all the same. Yeah, you got to have 20 eyes in your head when you're riding a bike in Tokyo. Because the thing is, I mean, there's cars that come from every direction. Sometimes they speed really close, right past you, going from your back to your front, right? Or sometimes they're going towards you, and something, if the guy's a jerk or if he's on his phone, he might kind of curve towards you, and you're like, "Whoa, wrong lane, jerk!" Or I mean, cars, intersections, cars, they run red lights. You know, everybody says, you know, Tokyo's safe, Tokyo's a wonderful city, and it is, it really is. But people are people all over the world, man. There's good drivers, there's bad drivers, and other cyclists. Other cyclists sometimes are the worst. Oh my goodness. I don't want to be stereotypical or anything like that, but some of the worst riders that I've ever seen in my life are housewives on these big old school bikes that we call mamacheris. and they would have like there's usually like one child seat in the front, one child seat in the back. Sometimes they're occupied by children, sometimes groceries. And these bikes are motorized and they're big and they're heavy and they just go through red lights. They practically, if you're going down the road and they're going down the wrong way, which they sometimes do, and I'm not being stereotypical, I'm just talking from experience, dude, they don't care. They don't care. They want you to get out of their way, you know? And oh my gosh. And I've seen like two mama cherries with two housewives crash into each. Well, I didn't see it, but I saw the aftermath. And they're screaming at each other, and their kids are crying, and they don't care about the kids. They're like getting in each other's face. They're getting gangster. And I'm just like, oh my God, should I take a video of this? No, no, no. There's a line you don't cross, and that was it. And yeah, but oh my God, I've seen a lot of really bad stuff on the road. So yes, it is dangerous. Absolutely. Now, you should also keep in mind, okay, on top of danger, a couple of things that you can do to make your ride safer is wear gloves. I always wear gloves, okay? Now, the thing is, when it comes to gloves, you can get cheap cycling gloves. It really doesn't matter. You can get the most expensive 7,000 yen, $200 cycling gloves. That's great. That's going to be fantastic. But the thing is, anything that has padding right here on your palm is fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. Okay. And I mean, my gloves cost 1,200 yen. That's like $2 American at this point, right? It's probably even free. It's probably free. The yen is in the toilet, whatever. But anyway, so gloves, wear gloves. Super important because the thing is, you're going to drop and eventually it's going to happen, right? Eventually, you're definitely going to drop. You're going to crash. Things are going to happen. And the first thing that happens when that does happen is that your hands are going to hit that concrete. Either it's going to be flat on flat or it's going to be flat and you're going to slide. And yeah, if you don't have gloves on, you're going to tear up your hands. And then once you hit and your hand hurts, the next thing that goes is your shoulder, your elbow, your face, your head, whatever. Now, right now, it's kind of a gray area, but the government's trying to make people wear helmets. And I think helmets are fantastic. I just wish that they look cool. Helmets usually don't look cool, cycling helmets. Motorcycle helmets look great, but cycling helmets don't look that cool. So a good thing that you should, okay, one thing that you definitely should do is wear a helmet, okay? Please wear a helmet, wear gloves, okay? Bikes are dangerous. The streets are dangerous. It's mean streets out there, kids. Be careful. But it's a lot of fun. With danger, there's fun. Okay, let's see. Yeah, next is the bike Nazis. The bike Nazis. Okay, if you park your bike in an illegal place, which is pretty much anywhere in the city, and you chain your bike up, if it's during business hours, there's people, there's like an organization that's going to go out there and they're going to cut your chain and they're going to take your bike away, right? And it's pretty much like the city that's doing that. And yeah, these guys, they're ruthless. They don't care. Once they see your bike, once they cut that chain, that bike is theirs. And what they're going to do is they're going to take that bike and they're going to put it on this big, huge truck full of a million other bikes. You've probably seen them in the streets, and they're going to take it to a bike parking lot or a bike graveyard. It depends on how you look at it. And there's going to be hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of bikes that have been confiscated, right? And it's kind of messed up. They go up there, they take your bike, and then they put it in this graveyard. And if your bike is registered, and it should be, because once you buy a bike, you got to get the bike registered. But what you got to do, or what's going to happen is they're going to look at the registration number, they're going to look you up online, and then they're going to send you like a little notice saying like, hey, we have your bike. It's at this bike graveyard. Come here, pay us 3,000 or 4,000 yen, and you can get your bike back. And so basically what you do is you go to the bike graveyard and then you show them the piece of paper. And sometimes, keep in mind, don't forget this, sometimes you have to have your bicycle lock key, right? Because they cut the chain, but they wrap that up or they tape that to your bike, right? So if you go there and you forgot your paper, if you didn't have your paper, if you have your key, then you can basically take your bike. Then they'll just give it to you. So anyway, and that's happened to me several times. Happens to anybody and everybody that's got, what, somebody calling me? Who would be calling me? Ha ha! Ha ha ha! It's Pee Wee from Gamuso. No, I'm gonna answer it. Yo, Lee. Oh, snap. Okay. Anyway, he hung up. Okay. So anyway, Yeah. So basically, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go there. You're going to have to get your bike and you pay 4,000 yen. And oh, yeah, don't forget an ID. And that's one thing. Those guys are ruthless. But actually, I would say 50%, I would say maybe even 80% of the time, what they're going to do is they're just going to put a little reminder on your bike, a little like yellow piece of like paper. And it's going to say like, don't park here ever again. And if they see your bike there again, or I don't know, if your bike is there for over 24 hours and they come back and they see that you haven't moved your bike or something, then they'll take your bike. Both things have happened to me. I've received hundreds of papers. Everybody with a bike has. It's not a big deal and stuff. But yeah. But another cool thing is, okay, if you do see a bicycle parking lot, and near every station in Tokyo, there's going to be like a little parking lot for bicycles. Usually they're full. Usually they're full, but if you find like an empty spot, you can put your bike in there and it will lock up. And then basically for like an hour to 3 hours, depending on the machine, you can park there for free, which is totally cool because usually when you go somewhere, unless you're going out drinking all night or something, you basically put your bike in there and then like you go shopping or something, you come back and then they have like a little machine, you put in your code because where you park and stuff, there's a number, that's your code. You put in that code, you can take your bike out and stuff, and then you're fine, and that's great. And I've been using that. System. I think. All right. A while ago, my bike got picked up by the bike Nazis a couple of times. So I was paying 4,000 yen, 4,000 yen, 4,000 yen. And then in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm spending so much money on this. This is ridiculous. So then I looked into like the bike parking lots and it wound up being a pretty good deal. So I was like, all right, cool. I might as well do that. And even if you do go over like an hour to 2 hours or 3 hours, it's usually like 100 yen. It's like less than $1. So it's like no big deal. So yeah, you might as well park in the bike parking lots. That's what I highly recommend. Dude, I rode my bike today. I was in Shinjuku. What did I do? Bike parking lot, Kabukicho. It's easy. Okay. Another con would be alcohol. Okay. As of recently, the country has completely cracked down on drinking and driving on a bicycle. Now, if you're caught with any amount of alcohol in your system and you're riding a bicycle, you can get a 300,000 yen fine, which is like about 10 years ago, that was $3,000. Now it's like maybe, I don't know, $80. But still, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And another thing, I've never heard of this happening yet, but another thing is you could get up to like, I think it's 3 years in prison. Like you can get a prison sentence. That might be if you cause an accident. So if you like hit somebody and hurt somebody or something, or if you crash into a car, or maybe even if a car crashes into you, and they check your blood and they're like, oh, dude, you've got alcohol. Your fault, So that's one thing you really got to keep in mind. If you're driving, don't drink. And if you're drinking, don't drive, right? And because the thing is, you don't want to get in trouble for drinking and driving on a bicycle. Could you imagine being in prison? You're in prison somewhere in Japan. You're surrounded by murderers, gangsters, rapists, all sorts of crazy people and stuff. And they're like, so what are you in for? And you're like, well, I went to the barbecue and they had these sliders with shots on them. And I just had one. And then my wife called me and I had to go home and stuff because I forgot to like wash the dishes and do the laundry and stuff. My wife, she always puts me in a pickle when it comes to like the laundry and stuff. So got on my bike and I rode and they gave me 3 years. That's why I'm in prison. You don't want to be that guy. And you don't want that on your record. Could you imagine how much of a loser you'd think of yourself if you were in prison and you're just like, I'm here from drinking and driving on a bicycle. I just went down the road to 7-Eleven. Doesn't matter, man. If you're drinking, don't drive. And if you're driving, don't drink. Not worth it. Absolutely not worth it. Hands down. Yeah. And okay, if you do go to a bar and you go to or a restaurant and stuff, and if you did go there on a bicycle and you do have a couple of drinks, dude, just take your bike and walk it to a bike parking lot, park it. And then if you're there for 24 hours, I think it's like 1,500 yen or something. It's still not that much. And it's way, 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 way cheaper than a ticket or time in jail. So just do that, bite the bullet, or you could just chain your bike up and then the bike Nancy's will pick it up and stuff. And then you pay 4,000 yen. Still cheaper. Okay, so all right, another thing is flat tires. You're gonna get a flat tire. Learn how to fix a tire. It's pretty easy. You can get inner tubes from any store, Don Quixote, bicycle shops, Amazon. Amazon's fine. It's great. Okay, stop by the police. Yes, if you are riding a bicycle, the cops can stop you and they will check your bike. Just make sure that your bike is registered to you. So if you are borrowing a friend's bike and you get pulled over by the cops, just be polite, just be nice. They're just doing their job, Just give them your gaijin card, smile, nod, say yes, yes, yes. I live in Japan. Yes, yes, yes. This is my bike. Here's the number. Okay, and then they're gonna let you go. They might search you. I've been searched before, which is kind of weird. Like, can I see your bag? And I'm like, what? My bag? All right, sure. There's nothing in there, whatever, But yeah, so that might happen. Um, Let's see. But I mean, it's whatever. And if you do borrow your friend's bike and stuff, just make sure you have your friend's phone number because they're going to want to call them. They're going to want to talk to your friend and stuff, and they'll just ask them some questions. Let's see. Next, what is this? Yeah, I think that's it for the cons. Yeah, that's about it. The most important thing is just to be very, very careful when you ride a bike because the thing is you can be the safest rider in the city, but it just takes some jerk to run a red light. And I see that all the time. Or some schmuck on his phone, not paying attention. And I've seen that all the time too. It is highly illegal for people to be like using their phone and texting while they're driving, but still if you ride a bike and you're in the streets all the time, these mean streets, you see it. So be careful, faders. Whatever you do, be careful. Stay safe. Okay, all right. Next thing. Okay, so those are the pros and cons, and here's some bonus information about riding a bike in the city of Tokyo. Okay, so where to buy a bicycle? Now there are so many bicycle shops here in Tokyo. There's so many, and you can buy them new, you can buy them used. I mean, if you just want a bike to get to like the supermarket, no problem. Buy a used bike. Who cares, right? Um, I don't recommend electric bikes. They look awesome, they look fun, but the thing is, riding a bike, one part of it is exercise. You're getting exercise, but when you ride an electric bike, you're getting zero exercise. You're getting negative zero exercise. And you're losing money because you're charging that battery, and that battery sucks up more heat than having your actual heater on for like a week. These batteries are crazy. If you look at your power bill, you've been like powering your battery and stuff. I mean, dude, it's crazy. It's really crazy. So actually get a real bike, get some real exercise, man. Do yourself a favor. The more you move, the longer you live. That's for sure. Okay. But you could buy a bike anywhere in the city. I highly recommend Double Base. Double Base is a place, it's a shop in Harajuku. The guys that work there are mega BMX fixed gear bikes enthusiasts. These guys live, breathe, and shit bikes. They love bicycles. Ask them a question. They all speak English and Japanese and a little Chinese. Ask them a question about anything about bikes. They'll chew your ear off. Ask them about famous BMX riders. They'll chew your ear off. These guys are great guys, really cool guys. Their bicycles are all extremely affordable, and it's a cool place to go and hang out. And these guys, they sponsor all sorts of charities and stuff, and they have like BMX events and cycling events, and they do all sorts of cool stuff. Very, very positive for the city of Tokyo. Very, very positive for Japan. So if you go to Double Base in Harajuku, you support them and it's cool. You're supporting the city. So that's what I recommend. Okay, registration. Next thing. Yep, once you get a bike, you're gonna have to get it registered. Just make sure you have your passport or your ID, and yeah, get your bike registered, and then you're good to go. Okay. Oh, if you're visiting Japan, let's say you're coming here on vacation, or if you're only staying for a couple of months, if you're on an extended business trip or something, all over the city, they have a company called Loop. I think it's Loop or Luup or something. And basically, these are bicycles that you can rent. They got these little parking lots all over the place. Like right by where I live, there's like three of them. There's three. There's like two right over here, and then one right around the corner. There's so many Loop places. So you just go there with a credit card, and then you put in your credit card, and I think it's by distance or something. But you can rent these bikes and you can enjoy the city and really open up that rose and just see what the city has to offer when you like get off the tracks, right? When you're not using a train, there's so much to see and do. So yeah, definitely rent a bike if you're not living here. I couldn't recommend it enough. Oh yeah, another thing, rules. When you're riding a bicycle, you can ride on the sidewalk. That's fine. You can ride on the sidewalk, but don't go fast. They got this, it's not a speed limit, but the cops can stop you if you're going too fast. And you shouldn't go fast if you're on the sidewalk anyway. But yeah. So if you're on a bicycle and you're on the road, you got to follow the rules of the road. Stoplight, you stop. Stop sign, you stop. If you are turning, you're technically supposed to use your arms. Like I'm going that way, over there, taking a left, you know. So yeah, you're supposed to follow the rules. Most people do, kind of. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, that's about it for bikes. Yeah, that I highly recommend if you're in Japan, buy a bike, get out there, hit that road, get that exercise, see the real city. And if you're coming to Japan, yeah, rent a bike. Rent a bike. And also they get these really cool bike tours. And I've had a couple of friends that did the bike tours and they absolutely loved it because yeah, they said to me, they said the same thing that I just told you. Man, I had no idea how many cool little like bars and restaurants and shops are all over the city. You know, it's like crazy. And I'm like, yes, exactly. You know, once you get off the beaten path, you see the real city. You see what the real people do here in Tokyo, you know? And yeah, having a bike is absolutely fantastic. And also, what might not be like a bad idea is going on a bike tour, you know? Like about let's see, gosh, I think it was 2007, one of my really good friends, Marcus from San Francisco, he used to be a bike he used to own a bike messenger company with him and a bunch of his friends, and they all came out here to Tokyo and they had fixed gear bikes, right? And they made a documentary of them riding their fixed gear bikes from Tokyo all the way to Osaka. I don't know how many days it took them, but they rode from Tokyo to Osaka. You can Google it. It's called Tokyo to Osaka, fixed bike or something. I'll put it down in the show notes. Just click on the link. It's a YouTube link, or maybe it's Vimeo or whatever. I don't know, whatever. But I'll put it down there. I found it before on the online. And the thing is, oh my goodness, it is absolutely fantastic watching that documentary. It makes you want to ride. It is so exciting. And the thing is, you can do that too. You know, you can go on a day trip. You know, plan a day trip where you ride to like maybe, I don't know, a campground outside of Tokyo, or maybe you go to like, I don't know, an onsen, ride your bike to an onsen, you know, see like the countryside of Tokyo, you know? I mean, the countryside of Tokyo, the countryside of Tokyo. That's probably my neighborhood. But no, see the countryside outside of Tokyo. Because I mean, God, you know, and that's one thing that I feel really bad for all the people that come here and visit Japan. Most of them don't get out of Tokyo or Kyoto or Osaka or whatever. They just hit the big cities with the big shrines and they do all the stuff that all the other tourists do, and they just complain about tourists. Ah, there's tourists everywhere because you guys are going to all the same places. But the thing is, getting outside of Tokyo and going to these smaller areas by like and by bicycle or by train, whatever, is absolutely important. It's so amazing. Japan is such a beautiful, beautiful country. If you go up to Niigata, it is incredibly beautiful. If you go straight down to Izu, oh my God, it's like heaven on earth. It's amazing. Yeah, the nature, the mountains, the wildlife. Yeah, and riding a bike there, I think that's a brilliant idea. Yeah, if you get like the little backpack, whatever, you have like a little tent, maybe like, I don't know, some camping goods or something. There's campgrounds all over the place, you know? Go off and do that. Have an adventure. Have a real Japan adventure, you know? Don't do the same crap that everybody else has done. Dude, I was just in Shinjuku. And you know what? I looked around, I was having coffee with a friend, and I was like, you know what this reminds me of? She's like, New York. I'm like, yeah. She goes, you always say that, Johnny. Every time you come out here to Kabukicho, you always says it reminds you of New York. And I'm like, yes, you're right. You're right. It does remind me of New York because you look around and they all look American. And it's true. It's really true. Go to Kabukicho right now. It's 4:45 in the afternoon or evening. I guess it's afternoon. Yeah, I bet you if you go to Kabukicho, you look around, you're like, yeah, this is New York. Oh man, we're back in Manhattan. Oh, nothing wrong with that though. All right, so that's my thoughts on cycling. I've been cycling in Japan for God, is it 23 years? 23 years I've been in the streets. Yeah, I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've experienced it all on the road. And I think you should too. So yeah, if you're in Japan, buy a bike. If you're coming to Japan, rent a bike. Go on a bike tour. Have some fun. All right, faders. Well, that's Johnny's 2 cents about bikes. All right. So what I want to do now is take a little break. And then after the break, I'm going to come back with this week's wild and crazy news that I have for you guys. So yes, if you are watching this live, I'm just going to continue streaming. Yeah, if you're listening to this, you're just going to listen to some of our sponsors. Definitely support our sponsors. Our sponsors are awesome. I only have companies that I love sponsor the show. That's why they're all mostly alcohol related, but that's all good. Oh, man. So we're going to take a little break. And when we come back, yes, we've got the news. All right, faders, catch you in about 2 minutes. Peace.
Yo, what's up, faders? Got Faded Japan has got a new sponsor. Our new sponsor is Gamuso Bar, located in Asagaya, Tokyo. If you're kicking it in Tokyo and you want to get your groove on, get your fade on, you better get your ass down to Gamuso. Gamuso is located in Asagaya. It's about 11 minutes from Shinjuku Station on the Chuo line. Gamuso has weekly bands, weekly performances. And hell, if you got your own event and you want to hold it at Gamuso, we'd love to host you. So contact Gamuso at www.gamuso.com. That's www.gamuso.com. That's right, Gamuso has not only beers in the bottle, but beers on tap. We've got every drink you want, so come on down to Gamuso. Gamuso, and if I'm working, tip me.
Have your attention, please. Attention.
Hey, yo, what's up, faders? Johnny here. You know I love booze and news, but I also love art. So come on down to thespiltink.com and check my art out. I've got tons of stuff there for you to check out. And I've got paintings, I got prints, I got videos. And I tell you what, if you like a painting, I could probably sell it to you. And I tell you what, if I can't sell you that painting, I will definitely sell you a print. I've got prints of all my work. Prints are about 2,000 yen each, about $20. But if you buy two, you get the third one for free. So come on down to thespiltink.com. Yo, and on top of that, I'm looking for commissioned work. So if there's something that you want me to do, I can make it for you. Just check out my stuff and see if you like my style. And if you like my style, I can definitely paint you anything on canvas, paper, whatever. I've done it all. So come on down to thespiltink.com. That is THESPILTINK.com. Thespiltink.com. Proper.
Mitsuya Liquors. Yo, what's up, faders? If you're in Asia, if you're in Japan, if you're in Tokyo, if you're in Asagaya, you better get down to Mitsuya Liquors. That's right. For the most affordable prices in Japan, you can get over 300 different kinds of beer. That's right, over 300 different kinds of beer. And of course, they got all the shochu you need, all the sake you need, and of course, they got wine from California to Italy to France to New Zealand. They got it all. When I say they got it all, they really, seriously got it all. There's no joke about that. So get down to Mitsuya Liquors. And if you go in there and you say, Got Faded Japan, you will be more than welcome to go into their back room and drink those beers that you just purchased. That's right, Got Faded Japan at Mitsuya Liquors. And 3 times a week, they have a sushi chef there. So get your sushi on, get your drink on, get your fade on, and come on down to Mitsuya Liquors, located comfortably in Asagaya, about 5-minute walk from the station.
In Tokyo and craving soul food? We've got just the place for you. Soul Food House in Azabu-Juban. Check out what we do at soulfoodhouse.com. Come by and taste the love. We look forward to feeding you.
Are you in Harajuku with some out-of-town friends or your family or significant others? Yeah! Do you want to chill and drink beer and eat sandwiches while your friends overpay for glitter unicorn socks? Yeah!
And the flavor's gonna make you complete at Harry's Sandwich Company.
So come on down to Harry's Sandwich Company in the heart of Harajuku, right off Takeshita Street. See you there!
What's up, faders? We are back and we are here with the news. Like I said before, we've got 4 articles of this week's weekly crazy nutty news. And so, yes, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so is this the first story? I guess it is. Okay, man arrested for assaulting woman walking her dog in front of his house. You know what? There's nothing worse than having a house with a little yard in front, and you go out and you get your paper, like Tony Soprano did, like in The Sopranos. He always got his newspaper in the beginning of the morning and stuff, whatever. And anyway, seeing a big pile of dog poop. There's nothing worse than that. So I mean, that sucks. That sucks. This lady's walking her dog's pooping all over this guy's yard. He's pissed. So yeah, here we go. Let's see. Police in Fukuoka City have arrested a 59-year-old unemployed man in suspicion of assaulting a woman who was walking her dog in front of his house. Uh-oh, assault. That's not good. According to police, the incident occurred at around 6:30 p.m. Sunday in Jonin Ward. Jonin Ward, interesting. TBS reported that the woman, who is in her 40s, was walking her dog when the man came out of his house and tried to kick the dog. Whoa, dude, that is not cool. Do not hurt animals, dude. Whatever you do, don't hurt animals. Okay, first, I was on the guy's side. I was like, dude, this lady's walking, her dog's pooping all over the yard. Now, I'm on the woman's side. I'm on the woman's side 100%. Moving on. As the woman crouched down to protect the dog, the man pulled the woman's hair and slapped her in the face. Yo! This guy is like a brutal, like Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace or something. Dude, that is just brutal. Tries to kick the dog, pulls this girl's hair, slaps her in the face. Dude, there's a couple of lines that this guy crossed. A couple of lines. When the woman asked the man why he hit her, he replied, quote, "Woman, you walked your dog in front of my house without my permission," end quote. What the heck? She was walking her dog in front of this guy's house, and he's like, hey, the whole world is mine. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm completely on this woman's side. This guy's a maniac. The woman called police and reported the incident. Police said the man and the woman do not know each other, and during questioning, the man denied allegations and told police, quote, "Yes, it's true that we had an argument, but I didn't slap her. I simply raised my hand and it hit the woman." Wait, let me read that again. I simply raised my hand and it hit the woman. Okay. So I raised my hand and it hit the woman. Yeah, no, he hit the woman. God, this guy, what a moron. What a vicious, evil moron. Oh my God, this guy's going to burn in hell. Don't hurt animals. Don't hurt animals. I mean, all dogs go to heaven, but this guy's going to burn in hell. Yeah. Oh man. Jeez, what a jerk. Can you imagine having that guy as a neighbor? Oh God, that guy would be the worst neighbor. Here in Japan, kids are trick-or-treating a little bit. Could you imagine trick-or-treating to Mr. Wilson's house? Oh my God. He's going to try to kick your dog and slap you in the face. Oh my gosh. All right. Moving forward. Doctor arrested for allegedly threatening man on train over coughing. Okay, I'll admit, being on a crowded train, I was talking about that earlier. Crowded trains kind of suck. Not kind of. Crowded trains completely suck. Kanagawa Prefecture, police have arrested a 59-year-old doctor on suspicion of threatening a 19-year-old man on a train because he wouldn't stop coughing. I'm sorry. I'm on a train. Oh, man. But I'll say it again. Yeah, I really hate it when a train is super crowded and you've got somebody that stinks over here. You got somebody that's like using their phone or something and it keeps on bumping you in the face over here. And you got a guy behind you that's coughing on your neck. It's pretty gross. It's pretty gross. It's the worst. According to police, Masahisa Onomura, a doctor from Yokosuka City, is accused of pointing something like an ice pick at a man who was coughing and telling him, quote, "If you cough one more time, I will kill you." Kyoto News reported. Oh my God, dude, this guy is like a psycho Dr. Death or something. Oh my gosh. He had an ice pick? No, I bet it wasn't an ice pick. I bet it was like one of those big, long syringes that they use when you get a tetanus shot. You know how they give you that big syringe, not the regular one? It's like the big, massive one. I bet it was that. He's like, "Tetanus, anyone?" That's my Jim Carrey. Okay. Police said the incident occurred on a train traveling between Kamioka and Yokohama stations on the Keiko line at around 4:10 p.m. on Saturday. The two men do not know each other, police said. Onomura was standing while the other man was seated and had a cough several times. Police said Onomura has denied the allegations and quoted him as saying, quote, "I didn't do anything like that." Quote. Well, I guess the cops will find the truth soon enough, because all over every single trains, there are tons of cameras. Yes. Remember when we had all those fire attacks and stabbings on the trains a couple of years ago? Those are pretty brutal, but ever since then, there are cameras all over the trains that you can't even see them. You don't see them. You don't notice them because the trains don't want to have cameras pointing all over the place, but there's cameras all over the place. So when you get on a train, you do something goofy, yeah, you are being recorded. Everything's being recorded. CCTV everywhere. Beware. So yeah. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you, man. I've been living in Japan since, well, for what, 23, 24, 25 years, something like that, for a long time. For a long time. And I'll tell you, I've seen everything on the trains. I've seen everything on the trains. Use your imagination, and I've seen it, right? And I've heard crazy stories about things happening and going down on the trains. And I've actually even had some trouble on the trains where like somebody like kind of checks you or elbows you or something. They're having a problem with their day and they're going to take it on you on the train or something. And the thing is, or like I said, somebody's like coughing on you, or somebody kind of like stares at you or something. They start talking like, you know, this is what you do. This is what you do. You look at them and then you look away and you wait for the next stop. And you get off that train, and then you go down a little bit, down, and then you get on the train again in a different car. That's what you do. Because the last thing you want to do is have any problems on the train. Because if you're doing something bad on a train, yeah, your sentence is amplified. They do not mess around with crime on a train. Anywhere from like fights, pickpocketing, arguing, sexual harassment shit, all that stuff. They do not mess around on the train. And it doesn't matter if you didn't start it, if you're defending yourself or whatever. The best thing to do is just avoid. Somebody's elbowing you, and that's happened to me. That's happened to me. You know, not everybody's cool, you know. So if somebody does something that's kind of like mean or something, just be like, and then the train stops, and then you get off the train and you get out of the car and you just breathe. You put on your favorite podcast, Got Faded Japan. Yeah, that's exactly what you do. And then you go to Patreon. Thank you very much, everybody that's been supporting us on Patreon. It really helps us out. Okay, so yes, avoid trouble at all costs, especially on the trains. Moving forward, story number 3. 3 men rob couple in their house in Gunma Prefecture. This story takes place in Gunma. 3 men broke into a house in Iseaki, Gunma Prefecture, and robbed a couple early Saturday. According to police, a 76-year-old man and his 72-year-old wife were asleep in their bedroom on the second floor when they woke up, gagged and tied up with something like a power cord, TV Asahi reported. The man told police, yeah, he was an old man. The man told police the intruders were all wearing balaclavas. Ski mask. A balaclava is a ski mask. There's like the old school 1970s ski mask. That's what it is, balaclava, right? Somebody Google that. But okay, I'm going to say ski mask. The man told police that the intruders were all wearing ski masks. And they said money, money, money in broken Japanese. After ransacking the room, they took cash, a cell phone, and other items and fled. The man was able to free himself and call 110, aka 911, at around 3:50 a.m. Neither he nor his wife were injured. Okay, thank God. Thank God these guys are okay. That is awesome. I'm so glad that they're okay. First thing here, faders and everybody that's listening or watching us on YouTube or whatever, we have banks in Japan. We've got these institutions where you can put your money and your money is completely safe. So do not have money in your house. In fact, actually keep all your money in your bank and go cashless. Go 100% cashless. Use your credit card because you get points. When you get points, you can get stuff for free. So definitely have all your money in the bank. So if somebody breaks into your house and they're like, money, 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 just be like, yeah, the bank's down the street. Go to the 7-Eleven, take a right. You'll see a Starbucks and take another left. And then you'll see another Starbucks and take a right from there. And it's right next to the Starbucks. That's where the bank is. That's where all my money is. It's over there. You broke it in the wrong place, you son of a gun. So yes. There you go. Let's see here. Why do they take a cell phone? What kind of a 70-year-old person has a good cell phone? I think people in their 70s have those old school cell phones. Like they, like they're like the size of like I don't know, like a paper towel roll or something where the buttons are all big or something. Why would you steal a cell phone from an old person? That's weird. Oh, another thing, they said money, money, money in broken Japanese. Now I'm going to tell you something. Now I've been doing Got Faded Japan since 2009. Solo episodes for like the last 4. That's why I suck at them. But I'll tell you one thing. I've read this again and again and again. If these guys get caught, they're going to be Japanese. A lot of times when people like break into like homes and stuff, they do home invasions or something like that, and they use a broken Japanese when they tie people up and stuff. They do that so the victims think that they're either Chinese or Filipino or Korean or from a different country and stuff. So yeah, so actual Japanese people will do that to throw them off. So it's like more difficult for them to actually get caught. And yeah, we've seen this so many times, time after time after time after time. So in the future, if these guys get caught, hopefully they do. Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, these guys are from this prefecture or something. You're just like, yeah. But yeah, so that's that. That's kind of weird. But yep. Okay. I wonder if I was going to commit a crime, what accent should I do? Actually, I mean, I'm not going to commit a crime, but if I did, would I do like a German accent? Yeah, everybody get me the money. Give me the money and we'll go to the chopper. Ah! I think the German accent is like the last accent you can do without being called racist. If I did, even though half my family's Mexican, if I did a Mexican accent, I'd be blacklisted. If I did any other accent in the world, I would totally be in trouble. But if you're going to make fun of any nationality or any country these days, Germany is the go-to. Wait, let me see if I can do that again. All right. Did Schwarzenegger. All right, everybody, give me the money and put it in the bag. Okay. Oh, Hans, we have the money and let's go. All right, that's terrible. That's such a stupid joke. I don't apologize. It's a free podcast, but whatever. Give me the money and go into the trap. Okay, all right. Okay, moving forward. Okay, this is gonna be my last article for today. Man arrested for attempting to kill father after argument over taking out the trash. Oh my God, I think we've all been in similar situations, faders, where pretty much like our parents have told us to either take out the trash, do our homework, clean our room, do some kind of chore or errand or whatever. And it just completely pissed us off because, we've got hormones, we're teenagers, we just want to listen to some punk rock and, I don't know, smoke cigarettes in the balcony or something, and our parents are giving us crap. And we're just like, oh, mama, dude, I'm going to kill you one of these days. But 99.99999% of us don't do anything about it. Maybe I'm like this guy. Okay, let's read on. This story takes place in, one of my favorite cities in Japan, Osaka. Aishiteru. Love you, Osaka. Police in Osaka have arrested a 25-year-old unemployed man on suspicion of attempting to kill his 72-year-old father after they had an argument about taking out the trash. First off, buddy, you're 25 years old and living at home. I blame you 110%. I'm on dad's side. The dad's probably pissed off at his kid. He's like, listen, you're 25 years old. You haven't even had a paper route. You just sit around playing games, playing pachinko, borrowing money from me and your mom. I'm sick of it. Just take out the garbage and stay outside for the rest of our lives. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my, I would living actually all right, I'll tell you one thing. When I was a teenager, when I was like a little kid, I couldn't wait to get out of my house. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. I ran away. I couldn't wait to like just leave and just never come back. And then I grew up and I got a little older and I think I drank with my parents a couple of times. And then I realized I was the dick. Out of all the problems I had, they were all my fault and I caused them myself. It was all me and my crazy hormones, I guess. I was out of control. I was a bad kid, by the way, faders. I don't know if you know this. Maybe if you've been listening to 767 episodes, you know my history. You know how bad I've been and all the crazy stuff I've done in my life. I was terrible. I was I must have been a nightmare for my parents. I feel so bad for my parents these days. But yeah, when I got older, I realized that I was to blame for all of the misfortune and stuff. I mean, we had misfortune too. But whatever. I'm not getting into it. But the thing is, though, I realized that my parents were cool. And now when I go back to the States, hanging out with my parents is like my favorite thing to do. There is nothing more fun than drinking with your parents. You know, I'll go drinking with my dad. I'll go drinking with my stepdad and my mom. You know, and my stepmom, when she was alive, I would love to drink with her too. I didn't understand anything she said. She only spoke Spanish, but still, it was a lot of fun getting wasted with them. So yeah, going back home and getting drunk with your family is the best thing ever for me. Oh my goodness. So this kid, let's see what's going to happen. Anyway, I digress on an epic level. Police in Kazuyoshi Funachiki is accused of hitting his father over the head with an imitation sword a little after 5 p.m. Thursday at their apartment in Hiwano Ward, Sankei Shimbun reported. Oh my God, so he tried to decapitate his dad with a fake sword? Dude, that is brutal. Oh my gosh. Okay, Furuachi, who lives with his parents, called 119, aka once again 911, and he said he had assaulted his father. The victim suffered injuries, including a skull fracture and a concussion, and was taken to the hospital, but is somewhat conscious. Oh my God, holy smokes. This guy took like, I don't know if you know this, but there's like all sorts of fake swords. There's plastic ones, there's bamboo ones, and then there's the big heavy ones that's kind of like a huge samurai sword katana. And these things are massive. These are heavy. These are surprisingly, you pick them up and you're like, whoa, this thing's got some weight. Why does it have all this weight? I don't know. Was it made out of bark? I don't know. But geez, man. So yeah, this guy picked up this katana, this wooden katana, and sliced his dad in the head. He cracked him to pieces. Okay. Police quoted Funachiki as saying, quote, "We got into an argument over taking out the trash and I lost my temper. I picked up the sword and I hit him thinking, quote, hey, I'm going to kill you, end quote." Oh my God. Well, this is pretty much about as brutal as you can get because the kid, I mean, would this be second degree murder? I think this is second degree attempt to murder or whatever. But yeah, so basically he actually thought in his head, I'm going to kill you. And he tried to hit him with a fake sword. God, this kid's a psychopath. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Actually, I'm kind of curious. So he's obviously going to go to prison for, I would say, anywhere from 3 to 8 years. I'm assuming that's what his sentence is going to be. I wonder in Japanese prison, you got to take out the trash. Is that something you got to do? Is that one of the chores? You got to take out the trash from your cell? Or do they have trash people that go by the cells that take out the trash? I don't know. But this kid, he's going to find out. Well, kid, what am I talking about? 25 years old? This adult living with his parents, this loser. Oh, my goodness. Oh, geez. So, faders, wow. What an episode we had today. Holy smokes. So, once again, let's recap. Yeah. Buy a bicycle, be safe on the bicycle, make sure the bicycle is registered, and go to our Patreon and support us on Patreon. Yes. Whoop. Yes. Faders, thank you very much for tuning in to this very special episode of Got Faded Japan. Thank you very much for supporting the show on Patreon, on Instagram and Facebook, and all the other places where we're at. And yes, recently, the last couple of shows I've been I drink Daime Shochu recently, but I haven't had a good drinking episode. I think I'm going to do that. I'm not doing dry January or any of that stuff, okay? I'm not doing that. No. Obviously not. Last weekend I got wasted. So, but right now it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon or evening. When does it turn into evening or afternoon? Midnight is middle night, which means 6 o'clock is night. So I guess 5 o'clock is still in the evening. Evening, yeah. So 5 o'clock in the evening. Yeah. So it's still a little early to start drinking on a Tuesday. So, However, I am going to meet a friend tonight for dinner, and we are definitely going to get drunk, and that's what we do. All right, faders, thank you so much once again for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. If you're checking us out on YouTube, thank you very much, especially for staying to the very end. And if you're listening to us, thank you so much. Anyway, thank you. Lots of love all over the place. Yay, Got Faded Japan. We'll see you next time. Peace.
My little brother, a goddamn shit-sucking vampire. Will you wait till Mom finds out, buddy?
I've got a government job to abuse and a lonely wife to fuck.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
God, the pressure! I can't take it! I can't take it! I can't stand to it!
You sure I should do this, man?
We're going drinking! We came, we saw, we kicked his ass!
Your move, creep.
Oh, man. I will never forgive your ass for this shit. This is some fucked up repugnant shit.
Suicide.
Fuck it, dude. Let's go bold.